What's up, horror fans? It's Danny from the Lassercast, and over this last weekend, I got to go to the New York City Horror Film Festival. It was out of the Cinepolis Chelsea in Manhattan, and I had a great time. I was there Thursday night. You could check out my review of Candyland from writer-director John Swab and the short program Thursday night up on our channel. Saturday, though, was an entirely different animal. I was there from about 2 o'clock in the afternoon until about 12 midnight. And over the course of that time, I got to see two really great horror films, a bunch of cool short films, and I got to meet the legend himself, Kane Hodder, who was there to receive the Lifetime Achievement Award. He was introduced by Tony Timpone of Fangoria, who gave him a very warm introduction, and then Kane was just the best. If you've ever met Kane Hodder at a horror convention, you know that he's so receiving of the fans. He's just a cool guy to be around, and Charlotte and I met him at a Monster Mania in 2021, and he was so cool. He let Charlotte, he usually does the either where he chokes you or he squeezes your head, and he did that, but then he also let Charlotte choke him in a picture, and it's great. She had such a good time meeting him, and she really enjoyed seeing some of the pictures that I took, some of the videos that I took of his Q&A, and he then was incredibly gracious, coming to take pictures with pretty much everyone who wanted to wait on a line to, and he was, again, super receptive, just really, for a guy who brags that he's killed more people on screen than almost anybody, which he probably has, he is an incredibly warm human being, and I genuinely love him. It was great to meet him again, and it was just awesome to see him there. As far as the movie goes, the Horror Film Festival, let's talk about some of the movies. I got there for the program in the afternoon on Saturday, where the feature was called Worst Laid Plans, and this is based on a book of the same name, and it's an anthology film. But unlike most anthologies where, like Creepshow, where they give you the wraparound story, and then they, set up, several stories within, this was just boom, boom, boom. 3 individual segments, directed by John Hale III, Christopher G. Moore, and Jeremy Herbert. The first one is called Deep in the Heart, directed by John Hale III, and this hit me in the sweet spot because if you know anything about me, I am a sucker for an aquatic monster. This is about a family who, a very disgruntled family, a very angry father. The mom wants to go into, exploring a cave system. I believe the director said he was there doing Q&A after. I believe he said it was in West Virginia. It might have been Kentucky. I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly, but it was really cool. And he said that they got to shoot there for free, and he was like, I'll take it. It looks amazing. Like, it looks like The Descent, if The Descent was really properly lit, and you could do tours of it. And the main character is a college student who basically drops out of college. He's gay, but he hasn't fully come out yet, and his father is very angry with him. And they're being given this tour through the cave, and they see these blind catfish that live in the cave. It kind of reminded me of the sequel to 47 Meters Down, where they had the blind sharks in the cave. You have these blind catfish. Turns out there is a giant catfish monster that lives in these caves, and it looked amazing. For what this cost, listening to the director talk about it, they got a pretty great looking monster here. Really enjoyed this section of the anthology. The next up was You've Been Saved by Christopher G. Moore. Christopher G. Moore is a friend of the festival. He's had several shorts in the festival before. One of my favorites is Backward Creep, and you can actually see the Backward Creep hanging out in this section. Basically, You've Been Saved, and I said this about Candyland on Thursday night. Anything that has to do with like overzealous religion in a horror movie creeps me out already because it feels very real. And in this story, you have two guys that are on their way to Atlantic City, and they're driving, and these are old friends hanging out. They got a cooler of beer. They stopping at hotels. They're pounding beers together, and at a diner they see this super religious guy and his a girl that he's with, and she kind of leaves a note for one of the two guys, and it says, help, and it leaves a Bible verse. And the next stop along the way that is a hotel they're staying at, and there's the trailer. And he's, while he's pounding beers, he's still kind of thinking about, trying to save this girl who is obviously in a very uncomfortable situation with this overly religious guy. He ends up knocking on the trailer door to go in, maybe try to rescue her. And I won't spoil it, but she is not what we've been led to believe. And there is a really good twist at the end of this that I thought was very entertaining. Christopher G. Moore does a really good job of subverting the expectations. You kind of think you're going in one direction with this zealous religious group, and they're this cult-like mentality. And then he kind of flips the script and it becomes something totally different. Really enjoyed the second part. And then the last part is Taylor Family Vacation of 1993. And it's this shot on camcorder story of a man who is on vacation with his wife. And it's very clear that they've gone through some kind of tragedy involving their son, and every morning he wakes up and he checks his camcorder, and there's recorded footage of somebody having been in their room, and he believes that they're being stalked, they're being chased around by some evil, sinister idea. It was really interesting. This was directed by Jeremy Herbert. If I was ranking the three parts of this, I think Deep in the Heart and You've Been Saved would be my 1A, 1B. This would be a little bit lower down, only because I felt it was a little jarring with the found footage camcorder stuff at the end of the anthology, but still very good. And overall, it's 90 minutes, not even. It's about 80 minutes long, 3 pretty good sections of an anthology, well worth checking out. If when this comes to VOD, Worst Laid Plans, definitely give it a shot. Very entertaining little horror anthology. The shorts that came before it, have to talk about The Last Christmas, directed by Ryan Port. This was, I said this the other night, if you could watch a short film and it makes you want to see that short film expanded into a feature, this I definitely thought was fantastic. Violent Night is in the theaters now, so we know that there's plenty of, evil Santa, killer Santa movies that exist. This story starts with a young girl who runs into her sister's bedroom and tells her, you have to come downstairs, you have to come downstairs. The daughter comes downstairs, the sister comes downstairs, and the younger sister is standing over the dead body of Santa Claus. She wanted to prove Santa was real, so she set up like a trap for him when he came down the chimney. He falls face first and impales his head on a glass coffee table. And you're just sitting there going, oh my God. Wow. Where the story goes from there, it's fantastic. It's only 12 minutes, but this got some of the loudest cheers from the crowd of the festival that I got to see. Then there was Simim, which is Mimic Backwards, directed by Cody Mobley, which he was there, and he did say that this was effectively shot in one night, and it was the first 5 minutes of what he hopes to be a feature. And basically, you have a group of people at a campfire on a beach, and one of the characters goes to get some edibles out of the truck. She turns around, and there's a mimic of her sitting there, and some unseen monster starts picking off the characters. Really good score for this one, and we'll see if this becomes a feature down the road. I think it's a good little cold open, as director Cody Mobley described it. I think it's a really good cold open to what could be a fun little movie. And then there was The Hangman, directed by Cameron Sun. Cameron Sun was there, and this was really creepy. Imagine if the Smile from the movie Smile was on a character called the Hangman, who hangs upside down from his feet and follows you around, and then, lassos you and takes you to kill you. Really creepy character, really creepy villain here. Again, another 7-minute little movie that could be expanded. I feel like this character of the Hangman could become something if it was expanded into a feature. The concept of this like ghostly thing hanging by its feet with the big smile on its face, super duper creepy. Right before Kane Hodder's Lifetime Achievement Award, I finally got to see Johnny Z. Johnny Z is directed by Jonathan Straton. Jonathan Straton directed a movie called Night of Something Strange years ago. Back in around 2017, I saw this at the New York City Horror Film Festival. It had the greatest poster that I had ever seen at that time. And if you get a chance, it is one of the best posters you'll ever see. I'm pretty sure you can find this movie on streaming. I'm going to search it up right now while I'm on camera, and we'll see if we can find it and tell you where to find it. What's funny is when I interviewed Jonathan Straton back in 2017 for Night of Something Strange, and I asked him, what's next? He said, Johnny Z, a movie about basically a samurai or ninja fighting zombies. And I said, that sounds pretty freaking awesome. And it's a testament to how long it takes for these movies to come to pass, because this was a labor of love. Jonathan was there with one of his collaborators. He was there with his wife, Bree, and Bree was showing us pictures of Jonathan having passed out on the while shooting the movie, and she's there giving him an IV, and then he basically got up and with the IV in him kept filming because they needed to get like shots done in that day. So it's a real labor of love, and a real it really gives you that sense of dedication that these people have to the projects that they commit to. Johnny Z is exactly what you think it is when you hear ninja fighting zombies. It is a super cool little movie. Some of the effects are really cool. There's a lot of gore, tons of ninja violence, tons of gunfire. The main character of John Ray is a pretty badass ninja. He does some really cool things in this movie. And Johnny Z lives up to the expectations. So I was super pumped to finally get to see this. I'm super excited that I got to see it, and I look forward to talking to Jonathan Straton again. just a really cool guy, and I'm glad that this movie is finally out and people will get to see it. And if you have seen Night of Something Strange, he did say that he is working on a sequel to that, which I cannot wait for, because I genuinely think Night of Something Strange is an all-time bonkers movie. Let's see. Here it is. Let's see if it's streaming anywhere. It is. Hey, there you go. It's actually free to watch right now on the Roku channel, on Vudu, Tubi, and Plex. So there you go. If you want to watch Night of Something Strange, and check out this poster. Look at that poster right there. Unbelievable. Just absolutely crazy. Yeah. Jonathan Strahan even said that every time he would talk about Johnny Z, people would ask him, when's Night of Something Strange 2 coming out? So I don't want to feel like I'm shortchanging Johnny Z by telling you that, because he did say it in his Q&A after the movie. The only other thing I wanted to briefly talk about, I got to see Fabio Colonna's short film Unheimlich, which was a mind trip of a little, about a 15-minute short, silent, about a woman who wakes up in this abandoned building and kind of relives the same events over and over again, trying to get out, trying to escape from, the specter of death. Very creepy. And met Fabio, super cool guy. Would like to see what he does in the future as well. But this is one of my favorite things about film festivals, is they're very intimate settings. Everybody hangs out. Everybody gets to know each other. Everyone gets to talk and share ideas and share drinks with each other. And it just becomes a really fun environment. It's not just like going to a movie on a Friday night and seeing, and seeing whatever comes out. You're sitting there with the filmmakers, with the actors, with the writers, the people behind the scenes, and you really do feel differently about a movie when you know the people involved and you know the blood, the sweat, the tears that they've put into these projects. There are filmmakers who I've met who worked for years to make a 10-minute short film, and I'm just in awe of that commitment. And I'm so glad that the New York City Horror Film Festival was back alive and in person. I wish I could have been there for all 4 days. Unfortunately, I had to go to work on Friday, and I'm actually home from work today. I got some flu symptoms, so I couldn't make it there on Sunday. But yeah, I had such a good time, and I totally recommend that if you ever get a chance to go to a film festival, do it. It's a very different experience if you're a movie fan, to be around filmmakers and, the people involved in the movie making process. And I just love it, and I cannot wait until next year. I know that this festival was very successful this year, and I can't wait for the 2023 version of NYC Horror Film Fest. So this has been Danny from the Lassercast. You can check out 3 videos now about the New York City Horror Film Festival on our channel. You can see what Charlotte and I thought of Wednesday on Netflix. We have 2 videos covering episodes 1 through 4 and 5 through 8. And if you like horror interviews, author interviews, Pete has been just like dominoes, knocking them over, interviewing so many great horror writers, horror authors. Every week he puts up another interview. Check those out on the channel. Give us a subscribe, and we'll see you very soon. Holiday horror coming up.